Welcome to Flirting with Realities. My name is Eric and this is Carol. And this is our welcome back episode.
Yeah, we've been gone on hiatus.
Maybe a month, you think?
I think it's a month.
Been a while, and we're back on the horse. We got busy, I guess. Still
Yeah,
busy. Still
yeah.
busy, but
It's
making time.
it's crazy, but we're structuring things and making sure we fit things in that we're committed to.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you think we were busy before? Not really, right?
Not as busy. I think we're always a busier type of people, but it's been like extra busy.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're busy? Do you feel like you're
Yeah.
tired, burned out,
No.
anything
But I
like that?
feel like it's hard to fit everything in.
Yeah, I think that's a funny thing is I don't feel burned out. I don't feel tired.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
either.
but I do feel like other things are being dropped because I'm busy, like the podcast or taking care of plants seems to be hard. Or
Yeah, just like this weekend, like all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, have I checked the hydroponic nutrients? It just kind of, when before it's just like, it was easier.
yeah, it gets hard to balance things when you're super busy and you don't have time to just remember things all the time. But so, I guess what have we been doing?
Well, I think for me, I've added door dashing into my life and it's keeping me quite busy.
It's keeping you busy, but you're still. It's not like you're working 80 hours a week, right? So you're busy doing other things too. Still
Yeah,
working out.
still working out. Working out, like making sure that I'm increasing and I'm doing Aaron's school. Um, you put me on the spot. I don't know exactly everything I'm doing.
So we're gonna have breaks every once in a while because I've got my kombucha I need to open, and they're too fermented. So we're gonna give it a try every couple of minutes to see if I can drink it. But it's like super explosive, and I've been opening these and having some failures lately where they blow up
Yeah,
all over the house.
notice it's like
So I,
closer to me than it is to him because one of those failures like was on both of us.
well, that's why this could be awesome to catch it on the podcast. With like put it in slow mo and they like all over your face. And you'd be like, oh, that was so sick how it blew up in Carol's face. And there's like kombucha all over her face.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be
No, not you, but they would. Maybe me too. Yeah, so just been busy. I've been working still and then adding DoorDash on there too, which that's why I thought it was interesting to think of right now how I don't feel burned out and I don't feel tired or anything because I think DoorDash is interesting. I think it's fun. Like when it goes good, it's like really fun, and then
super fun.
when it goes bad, it's still not that bad, but
No, I
it kind of
mean,
takes the fun out of it a little bit.
especially if you've had any sort of stressful job, it's not bad.
Well, that's what it is for me. Is I just get to drive my cars around really,
Yeah.
and it's like I like being out and about. You know, I like seeing things and doing things, and um, I don't like sitting on the couch. I really just despise sitting on the couch, and even like sitting on the back deck is like I don't really enjoy that as much as I should. Like
I do.
I much rather like do things, and I think that's why I like door dashing is because I'm doing something, but it's so relaxing at the same time that I'm not doing anything. It's like my sort of relaxing door
I get
dashing.
it. I used to be like you. I couldn't be still, but I've changed quite a bit. I can literally sit on the back deck and look at the trees and birds and really enjoy nature and yeah, I don't need to be constantly doing something like I used to like that.
Do you? I think the thing about the way I feel about it is that I enjoy doing things. I enjoy moving. I enjoy thinking. I
Yeah,
enjoy.
I thought I did too. I mean, I'm not saying that you're that for me. I've discovered a new way for me that made me realize that I was more distracting myself. And I'm not speaking for you in any sort of way. I'm just saying I thought I enjoyed being busy, but I've
You
seen
didn't.
the light.
It was all distraction.
I think a lot of it for me was distraction.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. The funny thing is like we've talked about, DoorDash has really lit a fire for me because it was completely humbling for me to I mean, for a minute there when we were trying to figure it out, we were making I mean, we made $5 an hour at some point while you're
Yeah, while
using a
you're
car.
testing it. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
but I mean, it's not uncommon to make $16 an hour, and we were working by time, which was $16 an hour, and you'd make less than that if someone didn't tip you. But anyway, it was like obviously gave me some insight on what it looks like to make $16 an hour as a human being.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, like when we go pick up something from like a fast food restaurant, everybody you're seeing that's working is working for 16-ish dollars an hour. Maybe they're making 18. I think a McDonald's manager, their sign says something like they make 20 or 21 or something. It's just like I haven't made those wages in a long time, and man, I just really look around when I'm doing. I go, oh, like this is what a lot of people are doing is working for minimum wage, and man, it's just insightful and it's a lot to think about, and I don't know, it's super interesting.
I think too, like we've noticed, you look around and you see people door dashing that you just may not have thought would be door dashing.
Yeah,
There's like a lot of like soccer moms, like maybe doing it after taking their kids to do their thing. I've seen just different walks of people doing it, and it makes me realize that a lot of people are trying to make an extra dollar.
yeah, I think there's tons of people right now looking for any way to bring in a couple bucks, and
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where you and I are at is we're trying to hustle to bring in extra money, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing right now. But it's kind of like we talk about. I don't think anybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about inflation. Like a lot of people talk about inflation, but nobody's really talking about struggling. I think a lot of people are embarrassed to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about how poor they feel, or if they have to DoorDash. How many people are
Yeah.
telling their friends and family that are door dashing, and
Yeah, but it's nothing to be ashamed of.
no,
I don't think.
no. I've always said anybody who's willing to work, man, like that's an honorable thing.
I think so. My dad raised me that way.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but it's been completely humbling, and that's what I've been doing. Let's see if the kombucha blows up. Oh, it's so mad. That's what I've been doing, I guess, is working and door dashing. And so we sat down and talked about when are we going to do a podcast, and I was like, well, and then I've been back into jujitsu too, so it's like Tuesday completely gone, Wednesday completely gone, Thursday completely gone. Fridays got a little bit of time, and Monday's got a tiny bit of time, but it's like it's a full day, it's a full week. Saturday and Sundays, I do things, but I can move things around.
We've also been through a lot. I went to Alaska. I had that tooth thing happen. The cars, every single car broke down like for a week and a half. When you ask me what we've been doing, there's just been a lot of things just kind of popping up, not necessarily a scheduled, this is what I'm doing. There's been a little bit of like, I wouldn't call it chaos, just challenges, I guess, to get through. But
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I don't know how much we've talked about it, but when we met, that's when I sold my business, and then you weren't working, and so we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything for 2 years,
Yeah, a year and a half, maybe. Was it 2 years?
maybe two, but we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. We just chilled, and it. I feel like I feel like it changed who I was. It made me it made me lazy, I guess, or it made me not motivated. And it was kind of interesting because it was super peaceful and it was nice, But when it came to like just paying my bills once a month, I was like, oh, not today. I'll do that some other. And now it's like my mindset has shifted so much from I'm working all the time to like let's go, let's go, let's go, let's do this. And it's like super motivated and energetic. And just interesting how all that changes. But I guess one thing I wanted to like talk about is how life pushes you in directions that you don't even like really I don't feel like you even make the decision to do. And I think like we had to think about this podcast, and life pushed us in a direction where we basically just forgot about it because we were so busy and our schedules changed.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even think about it. But our sauna and cold bath started being at risk too, and breathing has been shaky, on the diet. And it's like everything is like there's so much going on that it's hard to manage all these fine details in my life and fit them all in. So I just think it's interesting how the world can change and it changes you whether you like it or not. And it's, I guess, like we were talking about DoorDash having insight and um, just looking at like what a minimum wage person is doing. It also kind of like all that what I just explained kind of gives me insight into somebody who's like, yeah, I can't go to the gym, I just don't have time, and whether or not that's true, but I think they feel like I'm doing right now, where I'm just like, enough's enough. Like I can't fit anything else in, and it's just interesting to see, like, to be pushed into those situations and go, oh yeah, no, I can totally empathize with why people are doing what they're doing, and that's what I'm saying is it's like it seems like a lot of times life puts you there. It's not you making the decision to be there. But it's really interesting too because if you want to be somewhere, like you really have to fight for that position. You know what I mean? Like like today I totally forgot about the podcast until like 4 or 5 p.m. And I was like, oh yeah, we got the podcast. And I was like, well, I guess I screwed up my self-care, my exercise. So it's another day without self-care, which is like slipping a lot too. So it's like you really have to fight for it, and you're gonna have to plan it. And
I think so. I think you have the right idea of having a schedule, and maybe even for you, that entails maybe an alarm going off. I don't know. You get really involved in your work and you have no idea what time it is. And I think that's like a good thing. But I think your exercise can suffer when that happens.
yeah, and I don't like having a bunch of jobs I'm supposed to be getting done not being done, so I sacrifice my self-care for work, and it's a problem that I've had in the past that I can't get back into. But it's just all interesting of where life tries to put you and where you have to fight out of, at least for me.
Yeah.
Well, what else is going on then? That you're taking Aaron's class?
Yeah.
Aaron Doty's?
Aaron Doty. Yeah, his Shift Academy. So it's a 6 month commitment, and I just started month 3. And this month is um healing.
I didn't
But
realize it was 6 months.
yeah, it's 6 months.
And I didn't realize you've been doing it for 3 months.
Yeah. Um it's a commitment because there's work that you do every day, and like each month adds on to that, and it's a lot to
Oh,
like.
it's like ongoing. It's additional, like growing.
Yeah, and he'll add like you're already doing like maybe a meditation and journaling and like a morning thing when you wake up, and then like he'll add something else onto it. So
Pretty intense, huh?
it's a lot to get in a day, but I think it's worth it.
Sounds like what is it, Andy Frisella's thing?
Oh, 75
75
hard.
hard. Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
similar to that.
Yeah, but it's this is more spiritual, inner deep know thyself, inner child work type stuff.
That's interesting. And so you've had like a bunch of people in there too that like you're getting to know those people kind of thing.
Yeah, so you know me, usually I'm very hands off when it comes to socializing. It's not something that I usually enjoy, but I committed when I started this to um talk to the community every day, at least, like looking at people's posts and giving any sort of insight or maybe something that I'm going through that's similar. And it's actually been going really well. Usually, since that Fred Meyer thing where I really realized how I wasn't truly loving people, I was actually
Oh, Fred Meyer thing.
when when I started to notice like if someone ran into me with their cart and was scowling at me, I'd just be like, "Fuck you." And it really started to like weigh on me a little bit, and I'm like, "Wait, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be here when there's if I'm telling people they're not peaceful and they're crazy bitches, who am I being?" Like I think I finally discovered you need to come from a place of empathy, compassion, and love. And I'm not saying that you need to be walked on. For sure, like if somebody's coming at you physically, you've got to take care of yourself. If somebody's verbally threatening you, I mean, you've got to weigh what you need to do in that situation. And but also you can come from a place of, and I'm not saying it will work in every situation, but oh my god, I feel so bad for this lady that just rammed me with her cart and then acted like it was my fault. I mean, she must be going through something terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had I've had a different take on that because I've had incidences
Yeah, I know you have. That's
lately.
why I was saying, I mean, there's going to be circumstances where you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah, but I think where I'm coming from is, I'm 46 and I think I'm finally realizing that well, I don't know, it's so interesting cuz where I'm sitting right now is I'm like conflict is so not worth it. In almost any sense of the form, it's like if somebody tells you you're an idiot or something, like I'm just at this point right now where I'm like I'm just gonna almost disassociate from it and not I'm just don't want to engage. I don't want to engage with anybody. And this is kind of the interesting part of it is like you and I've talked about is like the world's getting crazier. And I think what you just explained is why it's getting crazier is somebody who has a good head on their shoulders like you were entering into this area of like just becoming one of it, becoming part of the problem, which is like, what are you running your card into me for? And then it's like, well, now I got to tell this person they don't run my card into me. And now, and then there's a conflict. And it's like, for what? Like, for what? They're sticking up for yourself, which is like, you can't allow yourself to get physically like assaulted for sure.
For sure.
But there's this mental thing of like, well, you got to stand up for yourself mentally too. And I think I've abandoned that. Like, I think it's just like, if people are gonna talk their crazy shit, then they just talk it, and I just go, interesting, yeah.
I think that's a good stance, like, comes down to like the four agreements when you realize that other people's issues are their programming and it's not your problem. And it's only harming you if you allow it to poison you.
Well, but that's what we're talking about is how everybody's getting crazier.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting crazier, so the chance of conflict is rising greatly, I feel.
Well, it is. I told you when I was working for Fred Meyer's, there's workers there that are constantly like, "Don't you fucking hate people?" And I'm like, "Actually, no, I don't." And they're miserable. They're miserable, and it's just like a cycle of hell. It's hell on earth,
Yeah.
like
So
you're talking about.
so I guess the one that still gets me, like, so if somebody's like engaging with me, I think I've just come to the conclusion I just leave it all alone. Like, I just walk away, like, unless it's a physical altercation, like, and even if it's physical, like, I just run away. It's not worth it because, like I said, like, what if you hurt somebody like really bad, or like I was telling you, what if I was carrying, a weapon, and like I had to decide I'm gonna shoot a guy over him telling me I'm an idiot. That's ridiculous. But the part that still gets me is like I was telling you, I was at the store last night, and there's a guy just letting his dog off leash to run around the store, and then I met him at the self checkout, and he's got his dog on a leash now, but his dog's laying in the middle of everything, like blocking everything, and it's like that's the one I'm still confused about because I feel like as a society we're failing if we don't tell that guy he's got to get out of the way. You got to move your dog.
You know who's failing though? Walmart, Fred Meyer's, Taco Bell. I mean, I don't think they should be allowing, they're choosing to turn an eye to all the animals that are coming in the store because they just don't want to deal with it.
Which is true, but there's actually a saying. I wish I could remember it, but it said something like when a good man turns his eye to evil, like all is lost. There's like a saying that says that. I don't know what it is, but I think that's true too. And I heard that from a friend that said that he was at Home Depot, and it's like in Portland, like you just load your cart up with $3,000 worth of stuff, and you just run out. You just run out, and everybody watches you, and nobody does anything, and it's like, well, Home Depot's not willing to do anything, but I'm not here to protect Home Depot. I'm here to protect our civilization. You know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, you're right. It's the store. Like, it's so ridiculous that the stores don't do anything, but then it's like individuals don't do anything. And when you don't tell your guy, yo, you gotta keep that. Well, in fact, don't bring your dog into the store, a grocery store. But then, if you do bring the dog in the grocery store, you don't let him run around free, and then you don't let him just sit in the middle of the road, so he's blocking all the carts. It's like, there's got to be some sort of public, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Not requirement, but obligation to to keep people in check. Even like we talk about like body shaming and fat shaming. I mean, that's there's nobody responsible for people. I think we need to like fat shame, body shame a little bit and say, hey, you're looking a little chubby. Like we need to pull it together here a little bit. Like, and it's not because you're being a dick. It's because you like actually care for the person and you're like, yo, like you're letting yourself slip. Like, let's pull it together. Come on now. And that's the way I see it. But no, nobody wants to do that, including me. But that's my struggle. That's my struggle right now is, well, because it's like, this is what we talk about during COVID. You and I decided like we're not wearing masks. We're going to set an example, and we're going to voice our opinions everywhere. And we're not even going to go to stores. We're not going to do, we're gonna lead this thing, and we're going to show people that it's okay to not want to wear a mask. We were just the only people, and it didn't make any difference. And that's how I feel about telling this guy at Walmart, like, yo, your dog can't be running around the store. Now it just turns into a fight between me and him.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you. I mean, it would be one thing if people were um, capable of hearing things like that, but I don't think people are capable of hearing any sort of constructive criticism.
This guy knows. He
I think
knows.
I think in this case he probably does, and he probably. I mean, you're letting your dog run around the store. You have a certain like fuck everyone attitude.
Yeah.
Like this is my world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's letting him get away with it too, right? By not saying something.
Yeah, I don't know what you say to those kind of people. Cuz I can tell you there's a lot of mental illness around here, and I
Yeah.
can tell you there is, coming from my mom being schizophrenic and my sister bipolar, there's no reasoning with mentally ill people.
Uh,
I'm not saying he was mentally ill, but
well, I might disagree with that because I think if you went to a place like New York, where people are very outspoken, I think there would have been 20 people. Get your fucking dog out of the way. You know what I mean? And I think once you take a verbal beating like that, you would stop the behavior. I
yeah,
think the reason they do it here is because there's like, what's nobody says anything around here.
I don't know if you understood what I was saying. Like if he was mentally ill, you can't shame mentally ill people. Like if you would have tried to shame my mom or my sister, there is.
They would just continue the behavior no matter what.
It does not. There is no shaming.
I don't mean shaming. I just mean like,
There's no. They're in such. And I'm not saying the guy that it was this way, but I'm saying you will be faced with, if you decide to start like talking to people, you'll be faced with some mentally ill people, and they can't be reasoned with.
well, but that's the weird thing is since nobody here is like standing up to this guy and saying this is not acceptable, now all of a sudden I look like the weird guy because I'm different than everybody because I'm standing up and I'm saying you can't let your dog run around here. I look like the jerk. I look like the weird guy, and nobody else.
Well, yeah, you are in an environment that people don't, even if they think it, they don't speak
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean that's basically what it was with the masks, right? It was like people would tell us we need to leave the store if we don't wear a mask, and everybody who is on our side would just sit there and watch it happen. When deep down inside, they're thinking like, "Man, I don't want to wear this mask either. I think we should say something or do something."
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is that my struggle is I think the right thing to do is you stand up for what you believe in, but
I used to think that too, and the whole mask thing changed my mind.
well, and I think that's the problem is you're alone. You're alone, and what's it going to get you? Are you going to change the world? I mean, that's the problem though. Is like, you say you want to change the world, you start with yourself and you lead by example. But is this place too far gone? Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if me walking around telling everybody my opinion about how they should or shouldn't do things is going to help anything at all. I don't. So
Well, I mean, it kind of becomes that, right? If everybody else is allowing it, it does become like your opinion rather than,
yeah, the right thing to do.
yeah.
We're almost there with the kombucha. Burped it like 20 times. So, but the problem is, right, is it's just defeating to. So now I'm like, I don't defend. Actually, the like defending myself if somebody says something to me or whatever. I'm actually like really good with that. I should have come to this conclusion a long time ago. Like, who cares
Yeah.
what everybody says or thinks?
Yeah, I'm on that bandwagon.
But it's the watching everybody just act however they want to act.
Destroy the community.
Yeah, like socially, socially everything up here is just a giant mess. It is just a giant mess. I don't know how much worse it can get. Like what this is what we're talking about is like people are gonna start fighting soon. I feel like I feel like it's already a thing.
Do you think it's at all our responsibility to, okay, if this was, let's say, a relationship, you would likely like be like, this isn't working out for me, and you'd go somewhere that was working out for you. So we're in a situation where this is just where we're going to be for a while, so we can't take that avenue of being somewhere that are more our people. So I don't know if that you agree with that, but normally you wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm just going to sit back and watch this community like burn to the ground. You'd be like, these aren't my people. I'm out of here, man.
Yeah, but, I think if it were just as easy as like transporting somewhere and there's no fees or costs or yeah, you just go, but it's always so it's like a relationship, like
It is.
you probably should have got out of your last relationship way before you did. Why didn't you just go though? Like makes all
Yeah.
when you're looking from an outsider's perspective, it's like you just go, but yeah, it's man, this place was a mess a long time ago, but it's really like I don't know. This place is weird. It's weird. There's just a lot of mental health and a lot of mental health issues, and like you and I have talked about, it's not just mental health issues anymore. It's like physical health. It's like there are a lot of people that are I don't even know if I can use this term, but I'll use it anyway. They're like vegetables. There's a lot of vegetables around here that you can tell they're not even close to being here. They're gone. Like we talk about there are these people that hang on to the shopping carts when they go shopping because they can't let go of the cart because
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll get lost or scared or like they're really that emotionally fragile. They're everywhere over here up here now.
Yeah,
It's
it's not once in a while. It's all over the place.
yeah, and it's the the people taking care of those people aren't much better either. It's not these aren't like mentally handicapped people. These are something else is going on. I don't know what it is, but crazy.
Yeah, I don't either.
But anyway, yeah. So I guess that tangent of trying to figure out how to deal with the mental health crisis that we're going through up here. It's totally different, and what I'm saying, like you think about a concealed permit, concealed carry. When people are walking around and they're just crazy, like I think you have to think about that because there's a lot of harmless people that are going to engage with you now. Is how I feel, and I literally think they're harmless. Like they can't do anything. I think they're messed in the head. And it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like, man, do you think about a concealed carry and like they having to do that? Because if they are crazy, like, do you think they're gonna back down when you try to protect yourself? It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. And think about this: like you shoot some mentally insane person and you kill them, and now you're going to prison. Like, dude, it's all what's happening. What's happening? So I don't know, man. But we haven't really been watching the news or anything, so we haven't really been too down and out on the current events or like the nasty stuff that's been happening. But this is all just stuff we're observing firsthand.
Yeah, just in our environment.
You know, I don't know. There's a lot of the door dashing's nice too because you do meet some like nice people and
Very nice people.
you get a diverse bunch of people. There's funny people, but like we talk about too. Like one of my favorite things to do, and this could be nationwide, but it's funny. Like one of my favorite things to do is I deliver it, and like if I have things to do, like figure out on my phone, like I'll just sit there in front of the door, and the people will never show themselves. But then like you can leave or you can like back the car up and then pull it up, and then they'll like grab their food within like 5 seconds, like they're watching you, and that's kind of creepy, but they watch you for that instant you leave, and then they're like, oh, I can grab my food finally. But
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
interesting.
oh, it's crazy, man. Just grab your food.
Well, we're social people that don't care. These people are. It's really interesting to me because I'm actually an introvert. My kids say they believe I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually very introverted. But like these situations don't bother me. Like
Well,
interacting with people don't it doesn't bother me.
it, there's there's a lot going on if it does bother you. Well, you don't have to talk to me. All you have to do is grab your food while I'm 50 feet away and shut the door and take it inside. That's all you have to do. Like, what's the hard part about that?
Yeah, it's
It's,
a very good question.
this is what I'm saying. You will probably never see me again in your life, and you're not willing to do this. I mean, like, let's be realistic. It's about 3 seconds. You don't have to look at me either. You could look at your food the whole time you're grabbing it. You don't even have to act like I'm there. I don't know. I feel like it's just an indication of like a giant problem we have in society when you are not able to look or let the DoorDash person see you. If you are hiding, literally hiding behind a door because you're scared, this is mental health problems. Like, this is a big deal.
Is it because they're scared?
What would you think it is?
I have no idea. I can't relate to it at all.
I think it's a social anxiety, which I think would be a fear. I've kind of had that with like a telephone. Like, I hate talking on the phone so much.
I don't like it, but doesn't give me social anxiety. I
I'll
don't
put a.
enjoy it.
I've actually, I don't mind anymore, but like in my like late 20s and 30s, I would avoid phone calls at all costs. I just didn't want to do it. So I feel like I could resonate a little bit, but let me just say, I wasn't in a good mental space then either, and I kind of lived here, and like I think like we've talked about, I think it's a big vitamin D deficiency issue. I think people like that and like lack of nutrition and food. It's just not like people are just hanging on by a string.
It kind of makes sense. Like if you're like just in a domino effect of unhealthiness. I mean, you got to think of like a place you've been when you were feeling your worst. I mean, like when I had my tooth that needed to be pulled. I mean, who knows what these people are going through, but if they're all they're doing is eating like processed foods and not like having good information go through their, if they're just watching a bunch of TV and gossiping and having shitty friends and like all of it's just a lot to think about.
What percentage of people do you think have like friends that they physically go out and see anymore that are beyond high
I have
school?
no idea.
I think that's really a thing anymore. Because I've kind of held it against myself that I haven't had friends in a while, but I'm wondering if that's like a thing.
That people don't have friends.
Yeah, I'm wondering if people. Of course, there's people with 9,000 Facebook friends, and they instant
Those
message
aren't
them, and
friends.
yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how many people do you suspect? Like, what percentage? Like Friday night after work, they're like, "Hey, let's go to the bar. Like, let's go hang out." I would, I would, I would be interested to know because I feel like it's low. And it's actually an interesting thought now that I think about it. Is I wonder if you went to like the bars. I wonder if like the bar scene is actually down, or not as many people go as used to.
Probably. Makes sense.
Because I mean,
Well, plus it could be even people who used to, now they don't have the money to, and then they become less social even after COVID.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, if you're not willing to see the DoorDash person, like, are you willing to even go out in public?
Yeah, it's an interesting. I hear some people behind the door sometimes as I'm
Yeah.
dropping it
Yeah.
off, and they still haven't grabbed it when I get to my car, and it is pretty interesting.
Yeah. And you know what freaks me out too is I look at those the doorbell, the camera doorbell.
Rings.
Is that what it's called?
Mhm.
Camera doorbell. Like every time I see those, I'm like, dude, they're like creeping on me. They're like sitting there going like, yeah, interesting.
I
Okay,
hope
wait.
so.
Oh, yeah. They're either
I
looking
don't
through
think
those
so.
things or they're looking through their blinds. How do they know when to grab their food when I leave? They're like watching out the
Doesn't it
peephole or
say on their
something.
app your order has been delivered?
Yeah, but it's not like they open the door when that app says your order's been delivered. They open the door when I can't see them.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
don't
said.
know.
I made a delivery where this person was standing behind blinds, but their light was on, so I could see them, and they were like standing there waiting because I had to jog around in their driveway. I had to back and forth. I'd do the Austin Powers thing,
Oh yeah.
and then like I was watching, and then I looked in my rear view mirror when I left, and they finally opened the door when I left. But I could see they were standing next to the door the whole entire time.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's
Well, it's their house too. You think they'd feel really comfortable there, right? It's their space. It's interesting.
yeah. Well, what do you
I
think?
think that's good for our 1 month hiatus. Welcome back. I think we're on like 54 or something now, aren't we? Do you know?
You're not new.
Unless you have anything else you'd like to talk about.
Mm, I was saying I feel like the only thing I'm doing is personal work stuff and working and observing society, and I think we just talked about all of it.
We covered those bases.
Yeah. Well, and you got a new phone, and so we're gonna see how the video looks and the audio looks.
We'll see the difference between this iPhone and we've been recording on Androids. So you'll have to tell us which one's better.
Yeah, we know that our videos have not been amazing quality or whatever, but number one, we don't care in some sense, and number two, just is what it is. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's taking a step up here and it's easier to watch or something.
I actually have decided that I need to do better when it comes to videos. So
It's just a lot of work.
it is,
A
but
lot of work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you tell them bye? I tell them bye all the time. It's
Okay.
your phone too, so you say
Flirting with realities, friends. We'll see you next time.
next Monday because we're on schedule.
Yes, next Monday.
Goodbye.
Bye.